Hey, YouTube. Developer Johan Sandhage has brought us a lot of interesting effects, and one of his apps is actually a synthesizer that hasn't gotten a lot of attention because it looks so simple at the face of it, because it's just this one screen, right? You got some extra settings and effects, but it's just this one page. But you can actually get some pretty deep sound design in this one page of controls that you have. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play around with this and just show off the various interesting ways that you can make various sounds. Since it's a monophonic synthesizer, I'm going to be using it primarily for bass sounds, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to start off turning on the delay because that's going to make things sound good. You can listen to one oscillator here. Nice full sound there, and you can bring in a second oscillator, which isn't sounding very distinct, so let me give that different octave range. There's some nice gritty texture to that. And you've also got this, that's in what it calls add mode. There's also a subtractive mode, which is actually going to subtract the two oscillators from, well, one of the oscillators from the other one. So if you listen to this now, as I bring in the second one, it's, since they're both at the same exact phase and the same exact pitch, when you subtract one from the other, you get nothingness. But you can use that as an interesting effect by changing the pitch. So now we're hearing nothing. And just setting it off a little bit has created this phasey thing that's getting a little bit kind of like a pulse width modulation sort of effect. So let me give this some decay and no sustained. It's a nice fun sound there. And there's also a multi-mode where it's like a ring modulator kind of, or it's multiplying the two together. So without any kind of pitch difference, there isn't any difference. You know, it's like multiplying one by one. You get this, well, I guess it's not like multiplying one by one, because then you would get one. But this is like multiplying one by one and getting zero. So if we add some differences here, changing the, you can slightly hear that. Let me change the pitch, though. It's going to be wildly different. Okay, still too quiet. You get that hollow metallic sound that you get with a ring modulator. So that's basically what this is doing. If we go back to a square versus square, it sounds less weird, like less hollow, but it's still got kind of a little bit of metallic tinge to it. It's getting way too low there. You can't hear anything, or barely hear anything. What happens if we take it to this low point where we can't hear it? If I shut up, you can hear it. And change the pitch. Ooh. That gives me an idea. Like, it's a nice gritty, like, it's not the weird metallic-y effect sound. Now it's this gritty kind of gristling. I got an idea now. We've got down here different modulators for both of the oscillators. We've got FM mode, which if I crank up this is going to sound fucking weird. And you can control the speed of that FM with this, so it's an LFO that you're FMing with. But there's also an amplitude modulation mode. And if you turn the frequency down to nothing, this ADSR becomes the whole ADSR for this oscillator. So if I take this down to nothing, right now all you're going to be hearing is the first oscillator. You should. Oh, damn it, that's right, because I'm in multi-mode. Not hearing that. Okay, all right, let's see what happens if I give this a whole bunch of attack. Not really suitable for a bass, but I'm playing with this and having fun, so let's see what happens. My sustain needs to raise so we can hear that. Let's go the other way with this. Instead of trying to do the attack up, let's try doing decay down. So that's interesting. I'm getting, like, it's giving me the gristly bits, then it's kind of calming down a little bit. Let me play with that. We've also got the ability to use filtering. And you can select individually to use it on each oscillator. I'm going to start off with using it on both. And this is kind of backwards. The low cut is cutting the low, so it's the high pass filter, and the high cut is the low pass filter cutting off the high. So I don't want to reduce any low. I do want to cut down the high. Let's hear if the resonance is even audible. Ooh, it is. It's getting a little too wet. Let's try some. There's an arpeggiator just built in, so you can easily just hit the arpeggio button and press 2 buttons, and you get quick arp. It's kind of amusing, but I think it sounded a little too wet. Could try changing the pitch around here. Oh yeah, that's fun. Oh, holy shit. I like that kind of psychotic bounciness to that. You can change the ARP speed, but I'm really liking the way that sounded. So let's leave that as it is and move on to just doing something else. Let's take all what we just did and move into the add mode. Now we're going to get an entirely different sound. So let me separate these so you can hear them. We got this sound over here from the first oscillator. And then we got this sound coming in and then decaying on the second oscillator. And try to blend them together here. Let me try this couple of saws just to see what that sounds like. I was liking it with the square better. Try playing around with the octave range now. It's really harshly aliased, so it gets a nice kind of chip-tuney vibe. Like on ARP. Oh my god, this is gonna be crazy. It's got a siren there. Let me think of now. I could play around. Let me give this full sustain here so that I can tweak this. there's also the frequency modulation, which I showed you briefly. Let me see if I can do something interesting with that right now. On the first oscillator, in fact, let me drop out the second oscillator so we're only listening to the first here. So that's perhaps a little too abrasive on its own. But let's listen to how that sounds now with the arpeggio. It's got kind of a polyrhythm going on in the center of that. It's interesting, but not good. So let's stop doing that. Try now briefly some different wave shapes on the LFO. And we can use the ADSR on this LFO to slowly bring that in. It's sounding a little bit too much like a siren to me, and I'm not liking that. So let's stop doing that. That's kind of fun. It's kind of a very classic sort of FME sound. Screw around with this now. Oh, that's not good, but it's interesting. All right, we got this one sound over here. It's very brittle. And then we got the wobbly craziness of the FM. So individually they're kind of interesting, but together they suck. So let's stop doing that. I do like the idea of using this sound. Maybe try one octave lower here. It's just a little too low, isn't it? All right, that's got the qualities that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a very bassy tone with a little bit of the brittleness. Actually, maybe I should go back into subtractive and see if I can take that and combine it with a similar sort of thing over here on the first oscillator. But FM is not working with the subtraction here. Let me drop that. That's almost onto something. I need to try to figure out what's going wrong there to shape it. I think the problem might be that being too low now. It's not quite what I had in mind. So we've got this really short, well, I guess not too short, but we got this decay that's taking this second oscillator out of the subtractive equation, which I like the principle of that, because I want this to have like a punch and then it decays into something that's calmer. But that phasiness is just not sounding as interesting as I'd hoped. Let me try switching the phasiness over into this one that I'm doing weird stuff to. Now that hit is right where I was looking for it. Listen to the character of just like the first little itty bits of this. It's got that warm zzz, but it's got a cool texture to it too. It's very interesting. Oh, I'm really liking that. Let me try now switching this. This is the master ADSR. Switching that around to hopefully give it a little bit more of a bassy pluck feel, kind of, maybe. Oh yeah. Let's ARP this shit. That's like future bass. And it's easy to say that anything sounds like future bass, because if you ask somebody who likes future bass what the fuck future bass means, they have no idea. Look at the Wikipedia article. I'm not making this up. Nobody knows what future bass is. So this is future bass. I hope you've enjoyed this, and thank you very much to all my Patreon patrons who make these videos possible. I really appreciate it, guys. Like, seriously, the site's supported by advertisers largely, but I haven't been able to attract a lot of new advertisers this year, and I really need as much support as you guys can help keep me going on all this, because this is my full-time job now, and I'm not adding in lots and lots of crazy modulars behind me. This is just to pay my bills. So if you can help be a Patreon patron, I'd really appreciate that. And you will get thanked in every single one of my videos. So thank you very much to everybody who is already doing that. Take it easy, folks. All right, that's pretty good. Let's see how this blends with the synthesis elements. This tail is just a little too long on this. Let's hear them together. That's really good. And if you want to get clever with this, you can reduce the length of the loop. So before it was a 4-note bar, and now it's a 3-note bar. Now it's a half bar. And making a dramatic change like that is fun.